This indie film right here shows the power of having a niche audience. I'm Michael, I'm an aspiring writer-director, and I'm actually in the middle of self-producing my first independent feature film right now. And I want to take as many people along for the ride with me and expose everything I'm learning about the industry along the way. Now, the movie that I'm talking about here is called Hex. It's a psychological kind of horror thriller that takes place inside of the niche world of skydiving. Fun fact, I'm actually a skydiver myself, so when this film came out, I was instantly sent it by a bunch of people via word of mouth and group text and whatnot, and I ended up realizing that it's actually a very interesting case study in indie film. The filmmakers were actually skydivers themselves, and of course, wanted to make a fun movie featuring their favorite sport and activity. This was a super low budget movie, and obviously outside of the skydiving scenes, that kind of shows a little bit. Yet, this film was picked up by Lionsgate, and to this day is only available for $5 on TVOD platforms. If you know anything about indie filmmaking, you know that most indie films never get a TVOD run at all, let alone 3 to 4 years later still exclusively being on TVOD. And that can only mean one thing, that this film is making some money, at least for Lionsgate. Unfortunately, we don't know how much of that's going back to these two filmmakers that made the movie, but Lionsgate is obviously seeing the potential and is definitely still making some money on it. I think all of this is credited to the niche that's a part of the film. Without the skydiving in this film, let's be honest, this film would just be a mediocre horror movie most likely, and would Lionsgate have picked it up for distribution? I'm not so sure. I think this is a really good lesson for all of us to keep in mind, is if you can find niche audiences, you're already giving your film a leg up, because now even if the film isn't that good, you're not asking to choose your random indie film over all these studio films. You can still rely on, well, these people are coming out because this film was made for them. And this works extremely well in sports categories, but there's all sorts of different niches. In fact, in the film I'm working on right now, I'm doing a similar thing. My whole film takes place around the world of the travel content creators. This is a world I know because I used to do that. So the film I'm making centers around that, and the main character is going through a story that takes place in that world, if you will. And our hope is to kind of rally up that group of people, all the travel content creators online and their followers, and maybe build some buzz around this film. If you can make a great film and have a niche audience, you're really setting yourself up for success when you go into the markets trying to sell your film and get distribution for it. It also makes self-distribution way more on the table, because now you might know where your audience is located and you might already know how you want to target them, and you might do that more efficiently than some distributor would, who just kind of got your film added to their catalog, and they don't know the audience like you might know the audience. So anyway, the whole lesson is just the power of niche. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on this and what you think about incorporating this into your indie film strategies.